Hey guys, what's up? It's T1D Bike Guy coming to give you a race weekend update. As you can see, did not go so well for me, but we're going to talk about how my race weekend went, how my buddy on the Gixxer from all the Gixxer Vision videos you guys see on the channels went. He'll be tagged below, as well as what happened to me in that first race, how my bike ended up looking like this. So stick around for those videos coming soon. Um, and we'll be doing an entire build series, putting this bike back together as we go forward. So, like I said, today's video we're going to talk about how the race weekend went, what put me here, and what we're going to be doing to get her back. But yeah, let's break it down. What happened this weekend and how did we do? So, my buddy on the Gixxer over here, you can see the awesome 05 Gixxer 600, 40,000 original miles on that motor. It does finally now have some suspension up under it, and beyond that, it's pretty bone stock, guys. So first race weekend out, he was able to ride all 4 races, both Super Stock and Superbike C, for his class, and ran 2 races Saturday, 2 races Sunday. Ended up running several personal best laps. Ended up putting down some great times at Road Atlanta for him. Smoothed everything out. We had a brand new gearing for him. He was running much taller gearing, so a lot of changes on the bike, and he beat the other gentleman who was there racing for his first weekend too, which was awesome. And so, you know, he learned a lot. He had a great weekend, and I'm extremely jealous, if I'm being completely honest. Now me, on the other hand, I had a bit of a different weekend. So we're going to talk a little bit about my race, a little bit about what happened during my first and only race, and then the parts that we know we need, the parts that we're not sure about yet, and the parts that we already have ordered to kind of keep this going. Now, with that being said, my race weekend, like I said, was a bit different. So I was able to run free practice 2 on Saturday. Got a little bit of in-helmet cam from that, a couple laps, like 2 or 3 laps. Practiced the launch, and then really my first real riding of the day was race 1 Superbike A on Sunday. So with that being said, went out, did my hot lap, you know, my warm-up lap, my sighting lap, came in, got a awesome race start, absolutely had a great time. My race start was killer. I moved up to the pack, lost a couple places going into 6 and 7, but not terrible. And you know, had kind of spread out a little bit by around lap 5, last lap of the race on the white flag. And when that happened, coming into turn 1, right after the white flag was waved, there was an active debris flag or oil flag, pardon me, out in turn 1. And what that means is there's potential for liquid debris to be on the track. And come to find out, another gentleman blew a motor and was sitting down on the side of the S's. So I rolled off about 10 or 15% from my race pace, whatever my race pace was during that lap. And when I did that, coming out of turn 1, there's about 100 to 200 feet before the tip-in or entry to turn 2. It's not super immediate. And so when I did that, I was a little bit wider, left a little bit too much room on the inside of the exit of turn 1, and ended up getting hit kind of at a glance in the side of the bike. Another rider, and unfortunately it wasn't caught on camera. My GoPro had quit and shut off by that point in time in the race, probably about a lap before. But basically another rider decided he was going to try to pass me on the inside of the exit of turn 1. Ran it a little hot, I guess, or thought I was going to be turning in before I actually started turning in for 2. And hit me so hard in the side of the bike as he was passing, probably had 10 or 15 miles an hour on me at that point, that he cleanly knocked off my, not sure if you can see it here, my right-hand side lever guard. Just absolutely cleanly knocked it off as soon as the bars went lock. And he told me later that his foot peg, or his boot had caught on my foot peg. And come back and viewing the bike, and I'll be adding pictures of what the bike looked like right after, as well as quick clip and all that good stuff. But the only damaged part of my foot peg is my rear brake lever. And so what we determined happened was, when his boot caught my rear brake lever, it locked the rear wheel down, and I remembered the ass of the bike being dragged to the right, and then when it let go, assuming when his boot let go of my rear brake, it snapped back around to the left, and it pitched me and launched me. I landed out on my left side, kind of spread out like this, Thank God my airbag deployed. I was wearing a Tech Air 10. I literally walked away from a 95-mile-an-hour high side crash with nothing but a couple scrapes and bruises. So, whole elbow's pretty purple. And the little one around these broken. And then that's the damage back there. Left elbow, right wrist from where he hit, and then my suit did blow through. I'll be contacting Matt Racing about that suit soon. We'll give you guys an update on how that rolls as well. Come to find out, the leather thickness is not exactly what they claimed it to be, so I want to reach out to them, give them an opportunity to fix it first, and we'll see how it goes. That being said, as a result of that, the bike did tumble, so we're going to look at some parts today, as well as talk about what I'm replacing now, what I already have, what all I think needs to be replaced, all that fun stuff. But yeah, so when the bike tumbled, the upper triple clamp broke. The forks, the outer tubes appeared to be bent. The front wheel, let me just show you, is pretty rough. You can see that the brake disc isn't exactly square on the wheel anymore, unfortunately. Now, this wheel took several big hits, one here, one here. I'm going to upload some photos of these kind of in the voiceover as well. But some bent spokes, things are absolutely folded in on themselves. Down the center line here, you can see the walk on the wheel with my arms not in the way. And so that one will not be being used anymore. And unfortunately, I do not have new OZ Racing wheel money. The back wheel is similarly out around with cracked spokes. Again, you guys will be seeing spot pictures in here kind of as we go. Well, that didn't go as planned. Rear wheel's bent, subframe's bent. Can's bent. We think the motor's fine though. But I can't turn it on the track. So front triple tree, ignition. We're hoping the dash is okay. Haven't been able to test it yet. Battery and the ECU flew out of the bike, so got to verify those are okay. I'm pretty confident the swing arm's tweaked, so I've got a swing arm on order, a rear shock linkage. I've got a front and rear wheel, just OEM wheels with brakes. We're going to do new steering head bearings, new upper and lower triple. I have new outer fork tubes that I have sent my race forks off to have the internals pulled and see if they're straight, if we're going to need to do stuff there. The shock and the damper also went to the same guy to make sure that they're straight and square. We'll see how much that costs. The rear subframe is definitely tweaked, but the only broken part is the little $33 tab piece back here. So I'm hopeful that if I release some tension on this and heat it up and bend it back, we can re-square that. But the majority of it is suspension components. Front and rear axles obviously gone. Brake discs all around gone. The wheels gone. Pieces of the body kit, the tail section of the body, the upper clip of the body are pretty much toast. Tank is absolutely toast. You'll see in the video. The exhaust can, I actually believe, is repairable. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So the exhaust can folded and kind of came apart right here at the rivet point. So I'm fairly confident that if I trim the carbon part of the can down here to the brake, trim out this internal material, and same with the length of the inside of the silencer here, and square it all up, I'm fairly confident that I can re-rivet the end of this back on once it's been straightened, and we'll just have a little bit of a shorter Acropovic race system. The rest of the exhaust does appear to be okay. The engine didn't really take a big hit. It looks like it slid through the grass a little bit off the track. One of the case savers had a little bit of grass in it, but there's no big marks on the motor. The airbox And throttle bodies did come completely loose after the tank got puckered. But yeah, so far those are the parts we know we need. I do already have quite a few things on order. Oh, also some Motion Pro throttle cables. Those guys got eaten up in the crash. The adjuster pieces broke off on the inside of the housing. As well as, what else was it? I know there was something else. I'm pretty confident that the rear brake mounting plate is bent with all the wheel bents and the swing arm being wonky. I just don't trust it. So that being said, I think that's the majority of the parts that we had to replace. We are going to verify that the frame is straight. It doesn't have any cracks in it, but there's a place called GMD CompuTrack in Atlanta. So once I get the front end back on it with some new head bearings in it, we're going to take it down there, make sure that everything sits nice and square with the new forks, the new shock, all that stuff, the new swing arm, and they will be able to tell us if there's any bend in this neck. If you've been in a heavy front end crash, it's always worth having the frame laser aligned and checked. Even from factory, some of these bikes don't come perfect to the next one, so feel is really a thing when it comes to this. And then obviously probably some clip-on bars. Never hurt anybody. I need new grips anyways, so we'll do that. But yeah, that's the long and the short of it. Now, for the parts that I've already ordered versus the parts that I've already got. So right before I did all this, I had actually ordered a couple sets of ET rear sets from Superbikes Unlimited. So as long as I can use that with the kickstand back on the bike this winter, the plan is to put those on the bike. New head bearings are on order, have said they've shipped, waiting on tracking. The swing arm, the upper triple tree, lower triple tree, the front wheel with brakes, and a couple other odds and ends, the Motion Pro throttle cables, the Woodcraft ignition delete, are all on order. I've yet to receive tracking for those either. Again, we'll see when those leave. And then once we're there, my next goal, my next step for the bike is get the ignition delete plugged in, get a couple of things installed suspension-wise, verify that the motor is alive and strong, and then really go, once it's rolling, take it up to GMD CompuTrack in Atlanta. We're going to have them put it on the frame laser measure machine, and it's 250-ish bucks to measure. Another 700 if they got to fix it, as long as they don't have to pull it apart, as long as it's not too short, which is actually my biggest concern here. So we will let you guys know how that goes. But make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys like the video. That does help an absolute ton. And stick around, because we're going to be doing an entire build series on bringing this thing back to life. We, at some point, are going to be doing a build series on the Gixxer. We do have another parts Gixxer over here with a little spicy motor. This may or may not be where these fun suspension parts came from. And then right up under the camera, not sure if we're going to be able to see it, but I will attempt to pan down there. We have a 3mm Gixxer 600 motor. So 3mm shaved head gasket stock. So we have some fun parts to play with over the winter. I'm also trying to convince my buddy on the Gixxer to just track his 1000. He does have an L7 1000 also, that he's got race bodywork for, he's got a spare tank for, he's got spare wheels for. So that is the goal, is we got to get him to start track day, and that guy, the auto blip and everything on that is, I think, going to make his life a lot easier. But tell us what you think. Would you rather track day an old beat up 600, or would you rather track day something new with some tech? Tell me in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sticking around. As always, hope you have a great night.